My peoples. My peoples. Jaron Boots Ennis, unified champion in the welterweight division. Should he fight Ryan Garcia or Teofimo Lopez if those two options become available to him? Let's talk about it, my peoples. I'm Jay Smith. Welcome to Box Center. This is your favorite boxer's favorite boxing show. Let's talk boxing. Very interesting because lately we've seen some videos of, or at least one interview where Ryan Garcia says that he would fight Jaron Boots Ennis, that he wants to fight the best. But recently, we saw, it was actually His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh who posted an image of Jaron Boots Ennis and Teofimo Lopez and asked if people want this fight. LLYY, my family, what's the deal, my brother? So you be the first to answer the question. Be the first to answer the magic question, my peoples. Punisher, what's the deal, my brother? If you could have your pick between Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez for Jaron Boots Ennis' opponent, who would you guys pick? Who would you like to see fight Boots? Ryan or Teo? LLYY. Guys, is the stream lagging for me only or for y'all? Let me know, my peoples, because right now, from my end, obviously I can't tell. Everything looks normal, and my internet should be pretty fast right now. So let me know if y'all dealing with it. Should be good to go. But yeah, man, that's, both of those fights are very interesting. I know that we spoke about that earlier today, and there was people saying, nah, listen, Boots will destroy Ryan Garcia and he'll obliterate Teofimo Lopez. Not so fast, man. Not so fast. Hold on. Let's not act like Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez are just average Joes. Come on now. Hash bash, none of them. LLYY, I'll choose Ryan versus Boots. Is going to be an amazing fight. And the funny thing about that is that Ryan and Rollies are going to be fighting, and the winner of that fight will become Jaron Boots Ennis' mandatory. So I believe if Ryan decides that he wants that fight, Boots is not going to turn it down. That's going to be a huge fight. Titty Bear, hello. What's up, Titty Bear? Punisher. It is a duck if Ryan beats Rolly and chases the Devin Haney rematch as it was planned way before he was announced to be the WBA mandatory versus Boots. I mean, we have to see how that plays out. We know that there is bad blood between Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. We know that they've been planning for that rematch. And in fact, that rematch could have happened next, but they decided to have one fight first and then the rematch. So if you're the mandatory and you fight somebody else, you're still going to be the mandatory. So it's not a duck. That's not a duck. Remember, it's a duck if you're the champion and you drop your title to avoid your mandatory. That's a duck. But Ryan Garcia is not the champion. He's only going to be in a mandatory status where he's not going to lose it by fighting that rematch with Devin Haney. So if he chooses to fight Devin Haney first, of course that's not a duck. Punisher. No, I said, is it a duck? Nah, it's not a duck. Nah. Remember, if you're not the champion, if you're the mandatory, you're not ducking by choosing to fight somebody else. That's also a big name. LLYY, Ryan got better offense than Boots. Boots got better defense than Ryan. That's what makes this fight amazing. But we all know Boots will win if not Ryan did made a final boss win. I mean, I don't know. I can't really tell you that Ryan Garcia has better offense than Boots. And I've been said it. Ryan Garcia has offensive firepower that matches with the best of them. But I wouldn't sit here and say that he has better offense than Jaron Boots Ennis. Remember, thank you, Little. Remember, Boots is a switch hitter. He could come at you orthodox or as a southpaw. So Jaron Boots Ennis, I think he has a little bit more in the bag than Ryan Garcia. Punisher, I didn't say it was a duck if he chased Devin rematch. I said it is a duck because it's not a duck in my opinion. Oh, okay, I agree. It's not a duck. Ryan Garcia giving Devin Haney that rematch is not a duck. That's a super, super anticipated fight. People want to see how it plays out. And we already know it's not like he's going to go fight a lower level fighter. We're talking about Devin Haney. Even if Devin Haney's stock dropped a little bit after that last fight with Ryan Garcia, he's still that guy. He's still undefeated champion. So at the end of the day, Ryan Garcia has a very tough competition ahead of him with Devin Haney. And the question lingers. Is he going to beat Devin Haney when he's clean, when there's nothing in his system? We're going to find out. We're going to find out. Punisher, Ryan has more firepower, but not better offense. Ryan power just carries. But we have to see at the welterweight division. We have to see where his power is going to be at. LLYY, I forget to let you, Gervonta is retiring in December 2025, so he's not going to rematch Roach. Or if he rematch him, it's going to be his last fight. Nah, brother, come on now. Come on now. Don't say that. Don't say that. Guys, don't just... Look, a retirement for Tank Davis is not going to be official until he announced the retirement and it's been 3, 4, 5 years and no fights. That's when you know, okay, Tank is not going to fight. But for now, don't even think about... Don't even waste your time believing in that retirement, my brother. Boxing NE. Bro, I'm out of internet for 7 weeks. There's something new in boxing, and Bivol versus Beterbiev 3 is real. Yes, Bivol versus Beterbiev is real. That's going to happen. There's a lot of fights. This weekend coming up, we got Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. The week after that, we got Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, and Teofimo Lopez fighting on a triple header. Same card from New York City. The following day, we got Canelo Alvarez fighting William Skull. After that, we're going to have Tank Davis and Lamont Roach, that rematch. After that, in July, we're going to have Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda. On that same card, we're going to get Edgar Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz. And Alberto Puello, Dominican champion, is going to defend his title versus none other than Subriel Matias. And David Morrell will also be fighting on that card. So we got a lot of action coming up. A lot of action. Hash Bash. LLYY doesn't know what you're talking about because Ryan was labeled to have the least amount of skills amongst the 4 kings. LLYY. Gervonta announced it and said he hates boxing and advised kids to quit boxing and play soccer. Boxers are actually warriors. I feel what bro's saying. Listen, man. Talk is cheap. Talk is cheap, my brother. Don't go. You have no idea how many fighters retire 3, 4, 5, 6 times before they actually retire. So I'm telling you, man, don't go by that. Forget about that Tank Davis retirement talk. That's what he's saying now. Punisher. Yeah, but people going to be screaming Ryan Duck Boots. I know how boxing fans are. And though the rematch has been targeted way before Ryan versus Rolly winner is the mandatory for Boots. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, that has been talked about before Ryan and Rolly's even fought. Ryan Garcia, his whole situation was a 2-fight deal. One to fight Rolly's and the next one Devin Haney. So that's already something that's been agreed upon. And I tell you what, nobody's going to say that you're ducking Boots when you're going to fight Devin Haney. And I can assure you that Ryan, if he beats Devin Haney, he will be going after Jaron Boots Ennis. So there ain't gonna be no duck to be talking about. Boxer Annie, oh my God, I think I skipped many things. A lot of fights coming up, my brother. The Soto hybrid, facts. LOYY, Ryan have never ducked anybody. Ain't he? Ryan ducked Shakur just like everybody else. It's like everybody, like the guys that are willing to fight everybody, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, Rollies, they all duck Shakur. That's why I tell people Shakur is the real life boogeyman. The Soto hybrid, Ryan gonna need more than a left hook to beat Boots. Nah, but that's a narrative that Ryan Garcia only got a left hook. That's not true. Ryan Garcia got serious offensive firepower. He just happens to have a huge left hook that can knock you out, that can hurt you badly. But he has a lot more than just a left hook. LOYY, if Ryan versus Shakur happened, who Jay Smith got? Nah, I got Shakur beating everybody. Shakur beats everybody. Nobody beats Shakur. That's why he's the boogeyman. Nobody wants to fight him. LB Marshall. Que lo que, my man. The future boxer. Salute. Respect. Ryan. He don't duck, but Shakur is the real boogeyman. Even Tank knows. Everybody knows Shakur is the real boogeyman in the division. LOYY. What made you like Shakur so much? Nah, just watching. I just watch and analyze. Shakur reminds me a lot of Floyd Mayweather. Best defensive fighter of his era, just like Floyd. The guy that gets hit the least, just like Floyd. Just the boxing, the ring IQ, the movement, everything he does in the ring. There's nobody right now that I see that could beat him. Punisher. I always had Ryan winning because people bought that Tank BS win against Ryan. But a hydrated and healthy Ryan is something else. Devin has a sus chin and doesn't have the power to keep Ryan off of him. We have to see how that rematch plays out. Because, there's still going to be people who say, hey, Ryan Garcia beat him, but he popped dirty. And that could have been a factor. So we have to see. Now, honestly, based on how that fight played out, Ryan Garcia could very well have Devin Haney's number. But we have to see the rematch. We have to see it. Arch 30, Boots more skilled and makes light work of Ryan, in my opinion. Listen, I would love to see that fight. And it's like I told everybody. If Ryan Garcia says, I want to fight Boots, he's going to get that fight. Because that's going to be the biggest fight in Boots' career. He's not going to turn that down. Plus, Ryan Garcia may actually become mandatory after knocking Rolly out. LOYY, so Shakur never ducked nobody. You tell me. Have you seen him duck somebody? You can answer that question yourself, my brother. The Soto hybrid. These people that call Shakur pillow hands and runner know what's up with Shakur. Deep down, they know he's that guy. Yeah. Listen. Every great boxer has a bunch of haters who act like naysayers. Nah, he ain't know that. He's a hype job. He's overrated. Every great boxer has that. Deep down inside, they know Shakur's that dude. They know why nobody want to fight him. And they make up excuses in their own head. But we all know what's good. Punisher. That was my prediction before they fought. And that's my same prediction for the rematch. Ryan will win for those reasons again. I feel like he got Devin's number. I feel like he has Devin Haney's number. And he's going to be able to land that shot repeatedly. LB Marshall. My number one fighter guy right now is Shakur. I don't see anyone beating my guy. And it's not because I'm from Newark. I don't see nobody beating him either, my brother. I just don't see it. LOYY. Out of topic, J. Smith. Who you think better, weightlifting or calisthenics for a boxer? Not calisthenics. Definitely calisthenics. LOYY. My coach says that too about Shakur, that he has pillow hands. I don't know why. I mean, anybody, that's an opinion. I would say because he's not maybe the hardest puncher or because he's not knocking everybody out. But I would pretty much be sure that your coach doesn't really like Shakur and he likes Tank Davis. So as soon as you become a Tank Davis fan, it's all about discrediting Shakur. Underrated Will, Jay Smith, what's up? Salute. Salute, my brother. Ozzy, when you get a bigger following, can't make everyone mods. Gonna need people to deal with the trolls. Yeah, I agree with you on that, my brother. Underrated Will, Shakur get beat. Shakur get beat. Ain't nobody beating Shakur. You can forget about that, my brother. DeSoto Hybrid 21. That Bomac stable something serious. Listen, Bomac, I think he should have got Coach of the Year more than once. He got it once, but I think he should have got Coach of the Year multiple times. Bomac work with you, you're going to get in the ring and put hands on people. You're a great coach. Punisher. That was the worst physique Ryan has ever came in. What you mean when he fought Devin? Hash Bash. Devin bought in Mosley to help him get better. What do you think, Mr. Smith? I think Mosley being added to any team is a great acquisition. Shane Mosley's a world champion. I would say Mosley's an all-time great. And, you know, he's going to bring his expertise. By the way, Mosley was one of these guys that when he was in his prime, he was very hard to be hit flush. So I believe he's going to help Devin Haney with the defense and on the offensive side. LLYY, underrated Will. Hey, brother, I saw your video reaction to Jay Smith. Keep up the support. Thank you. Appreciate it, my peoples. Ozzy, I never seen Shakur get cracked. The only time, maybe versus Valdez and barely. And you saw he pitched a shutout versus Valdez. Valdez didn't win a single round in that fight. Like Shakur made it look easy. Ozzy, apparently Valdez hit him with a body shot. Caught him with a good shot, but it didn't really have an impact. Like he lost every single round in that fight. So there you have it. You know, even the guy that caught him with a good shot, but in most fights, you don't see Shakur getting hit clean like that, like taking, you know, punches back to back and getting hit with combinations. You just don't see it. And it's kind of like the same thing with Floyd Mayweather. And that's why you have the benefit of having seen it. Like anybody who's in their 40s or older, they got to see what I'm talking about. Floyd Mayweather was called boring. He was called a runner. He was called a pity patter. He was called everything. I fall asleep watching Floyd Mayweather. He's too boring. Everything that people say about Shakur, they used to say it about Floyd Mayweather. Everything. So that's how I know Shakur is not just that he's a special fighter, but when you're that good, you get that much hate. Shakur gets mad hate. You got to think about this, my peoples. Think about all the fighters who fight on ESPN. Think about it. A lot of fight. Because people act like, nah, he ain't on pay-per-view, he ain't on pay-per-view. You know what's the percentage of fighters who fight on pay-per-view, man? It's only a handful. It's only a small handful of fighters that fight on pay-per-view. Come on. It's only a handful of fighters that fight on pay-per-view. The overwhelming majority don't. And Shakur and a lot of top-level fighters, elite-level fighters, champions, fight on ESPN. And Shakur, in his last fight there, was the most viewed fighter on the platform. You got to think about that. Because people say, nah, but ESPN is free. ESPN is free. Right, but there's a lot of fighters that fight on there. And to have Shakur be the guy that was the most watched, it tells you about his level of popularity. It tells you how popular Shakur Stevenson actually is. How big of a star he actually is. So I see Shakur's trajectory. He's only 27 years old. Think about that. At 27 years old, he's a 3-division champion and a unified champion. At 27 years old. Young as hell. And look how much hate he gets. He got a whole fan base that hate on him. LOYY. So what's the possibility of Tank versus Shakur to happen? It's all about Tank. It's all about Tank. So far, Tank has done everything to duck Shakur. So I don't know if he's just going to keep ducking him and never fight him. Ali Morelli. My English is no good. I don't know. Try your best to understand us, my brother. We talking boxing. Hello, my G. Just to say hi. Appreciate it, my brother. You already know. We talking boxing. We talking about the possibility of Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis. Can that fight happen? Will it happen? Is Tank Davis ducking? Y'all don't have to answer. Hell yeah. We know the answer. He is ducking Shakur. Punisher. Yeah, but at least Floyd sailed, and a lot of that was because his O was kind of a gimmick. Made it all about his O. People prayed to watch him lose, not to watch him fight. Two things can't be true. Yeah, but you got to understand, when you're saying that Floyd was selling or Floyd sold, I'm going to remind you something. Floyd wasn't fighting on pay-per-view before he fought Oscar De La Hoya. He wasn't fighting on pay-per-view. So that's the interesting part that people don't remember. Floyd started fighting on pay-per-view when he was close to 30 years old, or already, right there. That's when he started really fighting on pay-per-view like that. And Shakur's only 27 years old. That's the thing. People act like, oh, he ain't on pay-per-view. He ain't on pay-per-view. Yo, he 27 years old, my people. There's going to be way more than enough time for him to fight on pay-per-view and break the numbers, because people are going to pay hoping to watch him lose. Punisher. Even my black homies admitted it. Arch30. Shakur getting all this hate is crazy work. Only fighters that want to see the smoke. The thing is, he gets all that hate because people know how special he is, and they don't like to admit it. They know that Shakur Stevenson is a special fighter. And if you look historically, great fighters always got a bunch of hate. If you look at Floyd Mayweather, he got mad hate. If you look at Mike Tyson, if you look at Muhammad Ali, if you look at Sugar Ray Leonard, if you look at Duran, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield. If you look at all the great fighters, they always had a bunch of haters popping that hate. That's just what it's always been about. Underrated Will. I'm rocking with Tank all day. But that bullshit he pulled, we got to see. We got to see the Tank Davis-Lamont Roach rematch. And go from there. Because obviously Shakur's not going to skip Lamont Roach. But Tank Davis may actually at some point retire without fighting Shakur. And if he doesn't fight him, we know why. We know why he chose to not fight him. Punisher. I'm talking about Money Floyd. Oh, Money Mayweather. Money Mayweather was all about his money, but by that time he'd already become a superstar. He already become a superstar. Ali Morelli, I have a question. Who do Dario mean? I see my friend say, hold on, because I gotta do something real quick. That's a matter. So Ali Morelli, whatever that is, I don't really understand you. It's time for you to get the hell out of here. Peace. Hated fighter sells the most. That's the thing, my brother, that when a person is great, the haters are always going to be out there. There's always going to be people looking for a negative point of view and a negative angle because they cannot accept your greatness. Simple as that. They just can't accept your greatness. LLYY, we got to be glad Jay Smith didn't blow up yet and he read our chat. Wait till Jay Smith get popular and the chat is fast and can't read our chat. I mean, I'll read some of them. I may not be able to read as many, but I'm always, because I want to interact with you guys. I'm not here to just talk by myself and say what I want to say. I want to see what opinions you guys have. R30, Shakur is doing a great job staying in the media. He knows his gift, and super fights are in his future. Yo, Shakur is gonna eventually land on pay-per-view. He's eventually gonna be on the big fights. It's the inevitable. And then his haters are gonna find something else to hate about. That's just the way that it is. Punisher. I like Shakur because of his punch selection in the pocket and his distance management. Just not his whole style as one. But I think he's a good fighter. But I understand why people started hating on him. I think, there's different reasons why people hate on Shakur Stevenson. Number one, he's not knocking everybody out, and they want people to go out there like Tank Davis and knock everybody out. Number two, he doesn't get hit. They want to see him in a war. They want to see him get hit. They want to see him get punched. They want to see him with a black eye. And that's just not happening. That bothers people. And number three, his greatness. At 27 years old, a 3-division champion, a unified champion, an undefeated champion. They hate that about him. People praying for Shakur to lose, just like they used to pray for Floyd Mayweather to lose. It's just the way it is. Underrated will. Shakur better not lose to Zepeda. Man, listen, Zepeda's gonna be easy work. Zepeda might be like Valdez Part 2. Hash Bass, can't wait until Jay Smith get big so we can call in. The calling in part is gonna happen even before I get big, my brother, because once, like I told you, I'm still working on the studio. I'm, taking my time. I actually shot a video from the studio. If y'all seen the video, the last full-length video that I posted, where there's a red background, that's from the studio. So once I have the studio set up, I'm gonna get the StreamYard, and y'all gonna be able to jump in and talk boxing with me. LLYY, Shakur ain't no losing to Zepeda. We all know that. I'll bet my parents' house on Shakur. I don't care. Damn, brother, don't bet your parents' house now. Don't do that. Bet something of yours. Bet your shit. Underrated will. What if he gets knocked down? I mean, it can happen. It can happen. Anybody can get knocked down. If he gets knocked down, I believe he still gets back up and outbox Zepeda. I see him, outboxing Zepeda thoroughly. Punisher. Most hate him because they say he a big mouth, tries to talk tough over talking like he a killer, and in the ring, he gets no finishes since he moved to 135. And don't say Padley, bro, but that's why. Nah. That's not facts, my brother, because he's been having the haters since before he got to that division. It's not like the haters showed up when he went to 135. Shakur's had the haters since he turned pro. Since he turned pro, I remember people telling me, nah, he's a hype job. He ain't all that. So, look, I'm going to tell you what's the problem with being a hater and why I never been a hater. When you hate on a fighter and they start accomplishing and showing you that you're wrong, now you're constantly adjusting your argument to keep hating. So, for example, the people who used to say, nah, Shakur's never going to become a champion. He a hype job. He's not going to make it in the professionals. As soon as he became a champion in the professionals and proved them wrong, they had to start a new narrative. Oh, well, he don't got power like that. Oh, he don't got power like that. Well, he knocked some people out. Yeah, but he be running too much and he's boring. So when you're a hater, it's like you can't even bring yourself to give the guy flowers. Instead, you're always looking for a different angle, a different way to hate on him. But no matter how much you hate, the facts are going to be there. 3-division champion, unified champion, undefeated champion. I had somebody yesterday tell me Shakur's a loser. I'm like, bro, how the hell Shakur's a loser? Dude is an undefeated champion. How the hell you never lost as a professional, but you're a loser? That's so you can see the level of hate that Shakur gets. Underrated will. I don't hate Shakur. Just nobody tests that chin yet. I mean, It's not his fault that his defense is too good for everybody. How you gonna test the chin of somebody who's so tough to get hit? Yo, Floyd Mayweather's chin in his whole career, 50 fights, his chin got tested like 2 or 3 times the most. 3 times Floyd chin got tested. Versus Marcos Maidana, that was the worst punch he ever took in his career. He went stumbling to his corner right after that. Versus Sugar Shane Mosley, he got stunned. And versus Zab Judah when he put his glove on the canvas. 3 times in 50 fights, they tested his chin. So Shakur Stevenson is only 27 years old. He's going to get tested eventually. Eventually, he's going to eat a big shot. And we're going to see how he reacts afterwards. LLYY, the ones who we want to see test Shakur chin are ducking him. That's the problem. That's the problem. Who's going to test that chin if they don't want to fight him? Punisher. Yeah, people who hate, trust me, they will just change the narrative. It's called moving the goalposts. Shit ain't cool. That's what I'm trying to tell you, my brother. Look at Ryan Garcia, for example. I know y'all remember the narrative when he pulled out of that fight with Fortuna, that he was dealing with mental health issues. What they were saying? He's never going to fight none of the big boys. He's scared. He's scared of all the best. Ryan Garcia, he's scared of fighting all of them. He'll never... And look, at this point, Ryan Garcia is the young fighter who's faced the most opposition, the most competition in Tank Davis and Devin Haney. Now he's going to fight Rollies, and Jaron Boots Ennis might be there in his future as well. So now that narrative from Ryan Garcia haters changed to now they stuck on the steroids, or they stuck on he ducking this person, or he don't want to fight these guys, or he's capping, he really don't want to fight them. There's always gonna be a narrative. When you're a hater, it's like you're always looking for a different angle so you could just keep hating. LLYY, Ryan have the worst defense I've ever seen, but Shakur defense is some old school shit. Amazing defense. Shakur Stevenson got that defense, bro. Chris Fontaine, Ryan defense is dookie. I mean, he got a little kink in the armor when it comes to the defense. But he got that offensive firepower. Y'all got to remember something, too. Offense is part of your defense. Because when you letting your hands go, obviously, they can't just hit you. LLYY, right hands always down, not close to the liver, no defense at all. Bro only made for striking and hook. Underrated Will. Ryan defense, dookie, but that motherfucker can defend himself at a high level against high-level defensive fighters, though. Punisher. That silly shell from Ryan is undefeated. Now, that shell, that was crazy. That shoulder roll that he was trying to do, he was damn near turning his whole back. Even took some punches in his back. Yeah, he went a little like, don't do that no more. Don't do that shit no more. Hash Bass. People expecting for Shakur to dominate and then get the KO because Shakur talks like he's going to box to sleep, and when he doesn't, his fans get disappointed. But he's a very skilled fighter in my eyes. His fans don't get disappointed, my brother. His haters have something to talk about. But Shakur fan base, you don't see them disappointed in the way that he fights. They enjoy watching him fight the way he does. They know Shakur Stevenson fans know that he's going to get out there and outbox his opponents. What you just said about his fans get disappointed, that's you as a Shakur Stevenson hater who's talking about Shakur Stevenson fans and how they feel. You're not a fan of his, so you don't know how they actually feel. And they enjoy watching him fight the way that he does, Hash Bass. That's you're in the class of hater stuff right there. Oh, it's his fans that don't like it. No, it's not his fans. It's you, brother. It's you and the rest of the Tankomaniacs. Punisher. I was just going to say that offense can be a form of defense. Yeah, for sure. Offense is also part of your defense. Because obviously, like to give you an example, when your opponent is closing the gap and you start shooting that jab out there, that's part of your defense as well, because that jab is going to keep him guessing. That jab is going to make him maybe reset himself when he was about to do something. So offense is also part of defense. LLYY. What Shakur is better, and we all know, but he's not popular as Ryan and Tank. I mean, that's you gotta understand. Ryan Garcia is a big star, and he hasn't won anything. He hasn't won a title yet in boxing. But the thing about Ryan Garcia is that he was super popular as an amateur. That's what people don't understand. Ryan Garcia has that amateur pedigree. He was super at the moment that he turned professional. He had a fan base. He also got sponsors. He also, making money elsewhere and bringing in more fans from different companies. The same thing with Tank Davis. Tank Davis was super popular when he turned pro, and he's a knockout puncher. Being a knockout puncher made him a big star. But the only way that you could try to diminish Shakur's star power is by comparing him with bigger stars. Oh, look, these guys are bigger than him. But if you look at Shakur, his social media following, how much money he's making per fight, he's a big star too, just like them. Shakur Stevenson is a big star. You can only find bigger stars to try to diminish his star power. Punish him. Now, it's not his fans, but people who don't like that about Shakur talking and not delivering how he talks. And his energy doesn't automatically make someone a hater. I'm going to keep it a buck. Of course not, brother. Of course. Is that if you're a Shakur Stevenson hater, like Hash Bass, you're always looking for a different angle to hate on Shakur. So look, that was his different angle to hate on Shakur. Nah, is that, his fans get disappointed because the way he's talking. But we all know that's not true. Fans of a fighter are a fan regardless of how they talk. They're a fan because they like the way the guy operates inside the ring. All that stuff about, the fans don't like him because of this, that's not true. That's a false narrative sold by haters. You got to understand, my peoples, look at Shakur Stevenson's popularity and think about it. Tank Davis fans talk about Shakur more than they talk about Tank. My brother Hash Bass joins this live every day or almost every day, and he's a hardcore Tank Davis fans. Yet he always comes through talking about Shakur. Think about it. He a hardcore Tank Davis fans, but every time he jump in this live, he got something to say about Shakur. We might not even be talking about Shakur, and he brings him up. That's what tells you that Shakur is on that same path as Floyd Mayweather. Fans of other fighters, they got Shakur Stevenson with rent-free space in their head consistently. Punisher. But if you're a hater, then yes, you will look for something. Of course. Haters are always looking for a different angle to hate. They can't just bring themselves to say, yeah, Shakur's a big star. Yo, listen. Right now, Shakur Stevenson is one of the most famous boxers in boxing. He's one of the most popular boxers in boxing. What more can we say? Dude is 27. And then, look, if you want to compare him to Tank Davis, he's 27 years old. Tank Davis is 30. You don't know where Shakur's going to be at in 3 years, or who he's going to be fighting, or where he's going to be fighting in 3 years. You don't know if he's going to be on pay-per-view in 3 years and doing the biggest pay-per-view events. You don't know. We don't know. But we know that he's accomplished, and we know that he's one of the best of this era. We know that he's undefeated. Those are the facts. Come on now. I'm just calling the facts. Dry turkey. Neither Tank or Shakur are on my pound-for-pound list. Honestly, I don't have either one of them on my pound-for-pound list either. Arch 30. Real fight fans know the real deal on Shakur's talent. Of course. Of course. There's a reason why people don't want to fight Shakur Stevenson. The same reason why they didn't want to fight Terrence Crawford at 147. It's the same reason. They know. Dry turkey. Fanboys are just as bad as haters. The thing is that fanboys become haters. They want to support this fighter so hard that they start hating on that fighter. That's what happens. Punisher. People like different things, and that's okay. Yeah, of course. I mean, you could like something different, but when you a hater, that's a different story. Look at Hash Bass. Shakur was promoted before he turned pro, and media told us Shakur was gonna win the gold, but Tank had to get discovered as a pro. Like, how is that comparison even relevant? Hash Bass. Like, the mental gymnastics to hate on Shakur is incredible. The media told us they promoted Shakur. Like, what is your point? What is your point that you're trying to make? At the end of the day, you compare star power, yet you don't ask Tank Davis to fight Shakur. Like, how relevant is your comparison? Jake Paul has sold more pay-per-view than Tank Davis? And what does that mean? Jake Paul was never promoted as a boxer? What does that mean? Absolutely nothing. You focus on being a fanager, as always, because you just got to find a different angle to hate on Shakur. That's what it's about. That's what makes Shakur such a big star. That even Tank Davis fans can't stop talking about Shakur. Dry turkey. Why didn't Shakur take the Devin Haney deal? Why didn't Shakur sign the one-fight deal for Tank instead of asking for a multi-fight deal? So it's a two-part answer that I got to give you. Number one, he didn't take the deal because he was the mandatory and they was going to purse bid. It's very obvious that Devin Haney ducked that fight by leaving the division and dropping the belt. So instead of saying why, look how you're being a hater, my brother. I'm going to show you right now. Instead of saying why Shakur didn't take the deal, why you never asked the question why Devin Haney didn't go to purse bid and fight Shakur? Why Devin Haney vacated his title and left the whole division? You don't ask that question, right? You only ask about Shakur. I'm answering to you. Shakur didn't take the deal because obviously he was the mandatory. He didn't have to take the deal. He could have took him to purse bid. Easy work, my brother. So now that I cooked you on that one, let me cook you on the other one. Whoever told you that he was offered a fight with Tank Davis lied to you. Please tell me in the comments section who told you that Shakur was offered a fight with Tank Davis and he asked for a 2-fight deal. Who told you this so I can tell you who lied to you, my brother? Somebody made that out of thin air. Shakur has never been offered a fight with Tank Davis, ever. Tank Davis has never wanted to fight Shakur, and even his own coach, Coach Cal, said we don't want that fight. So please, Dry Turkey, tell me who lied to you so I could call him a liar right here. Who told you that Shakur Stevenson was offered a fight with Tank Davis? Who lied to you like that? Tell me in the comment section, my brother. Dry Turkey. The Showtime Weasel guy said it, I believe. Espinoza. Nobody ever said that. Espinoza never said that. Never said that. That's a lie. So you see, that's so you can see the type of hate that Shakur gets. That people make stuff up out of thin air. You think if Shakur would have been offered a fight with Tank Davis, that would have been across all social media outlets? Every single boxing channel would have been talking about it? And you're talking about, I think this guy said it. Nah, brother. Tank Davis has been ducking Shakur Stevenson for the last 3 years. They never offered to fight Shakur. And whoever told you that lied to you. Espinoza never said that Shakur was offered a fight. You got the wrong one, my guy. I'm the human algorithm. I'm tapped in. I'm following up very, very closely. So you can't tell me that Shakur was offered no Tank Davis fight and that he said, nah, I want a 2-fight deal. That shit never happened. Somebody made that shit up out of thin air. Underrated Will, 556, I'm dying laughing. Rs30, Tank laying to the groundwork for retirement so he won't ever have to fight Shakur. It's looking like it. It's looking like it. And I'm going to tell you right now, if Tank Davis retires without fighting Shakur Stevenson, that's going to be the main topic of conversation. Damn, this dude really did that. Even though last year at some point he said, yeah, he's on my list too. He tried to say that Shakur was on his list. Yet, after he said Shakur was on his list, Lomachenko pulled out of the fight with him, and him and Shakur were both free. And Shakur says, send the contract. Send the contract. Yo, Shakur was so smart. He already know the narrative of the haters. Oh, Shakur, he's overpriced himself. This man says, send the contract and I'm going to sign it. I'm not even asking for an amount. Send the contract. They said they was going to send the contract. They never did. They never did. They don't want that fight. They don't want it. Tank Davis does not want to fight Shakur Stevenson. Are they going to be able to convince him by offering him crazy money? I don't know, give him $20 million guarantee or something crazy like that? Maybe. But as of right now, he don't want to fight Shakur Stevenson because he know he going to take a L. He know. Come on now, my peoples. L-O-Y-Y. On my mama life, and I'm sure screenshot that Tank will retire without fighting Shakur. We shall see. That won't surprise me if he does. Punisher, underrated Will, same, bro. Espinosa is still known as the little weasel. Listen. I promise ya, Steven Espinosa never said that Shakur was offered a fight with Tank Davis. He never said that. Never happened. That's Shakur Stevenson haters making stuff up out of thin air, spreading it around social media, and then other Shakur Stevenson haters read that somewhere, don't even verify nothing, just want to believe that it's true. That's the way it plays out. Dry Turkey, I found the YouTube short. I'll drop the receipt. My brother, before you even drop the receipt, you found the YouTube short to say what? Who's the... Look, two key questions. Who's the YouTube short from? Lopez is Lopez. Zuniga Sanchez. Lopez is Lopez. Dry Turkey. Who is that short that you're talking about from? Because if it's from Espinosa, we will see an ESPN article. We will see a DAZN article. We will see a Top Rank article. We will see all the major media outlets would have picked it up. Do you really have a short there that confirms that Shakur received an offer from Tank Davis? Bro, I know that he never received an offer from Tank Davis. Whatever short you found, I'm sure 100% it does not confirm that he ever received an offer. It's a short saying some information that you want to believe, some hearsay shit. I don't even have to see the video to know that it's cap. Dry Turkey, Espinosa says Shakur wanted a long-time agreement and multi-fight deal, not a one-fight deal. You're talking about what Shakur wanted as per Espinosa. But show me where he was ever offered a fight with Tank, brother. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're taking little pieces of a puzzle and turning it into what you want it to be. But the reality is that Tank Davis never offered a fight to Shakur Stevenson. He never turned down a fight. Remember what you originally said, Dry Turkey. You say he turned down a fight with Tank because he wanted 2 fights. He never turned down a fight with Tank. He was never offered a fight with Tank. So you're taking Steven Espinosa's opinion and you're saying that this is a fact that he turned down a fight. He never turned down a fight, my brother. You can't take things and turn it into what you want them to mean. Look, you're saying they wanted to offer him a one-fight deal, and Shakur said, nah. Bro, you see, that's not the way that boxing works. There's no such thing as we want to offer him a deal, and he said, nah. They would have offered the deal, and then he would have said, nah. Now think about it. Steven Espinosa knows what they wanted to offer, and only Steven Espinosa knows what they wanted to offer, but nobody else? Stop it, brother. Stop it. Stop it, brother. It's what you want to believe. It's what you want to believe, not reality. Look what you're doing. You're going to a third party and making third party information legitimate. Meanwhile, when you go to the real people that's involved, Shakur Stevenson say, yo, send me the contract and I'ma sign it. Those exact words. He didn't say send me a multi-fight deal. He said send me the contract and I'll sign it. Tank Davis' own coach, YouTube that video. Coach Cal says, I don't want to fight Shakur. We don't want to fight Shakur. So what deal are you talking about, my brother? You can't make a deal out of thin air to say that Shakur declined an offer that never happened. You think about what you're saying. You're like, well, they wanted to offer something, but Shakur said, nah, don't even offer it. That shit doesn't even make sense, bro. They would have wanted to offer something, they would have offered it. And he would have either took it or declined it. But you're saying that Shakur told him not to make an offer. That's crazy, bro. Like, you making that shit up out of thin air to match what you want to believe. Punisher. Well, our sturdy. Just crazy to me how true boxing fan can continue to deny Shakur's talent. And like I said, when you're a hater, you got to make stuff up about Shakur just to continue the hate narrative. Punisher. Jay Smith, can we agree that we all should wait to see what happens in the Zepeda versus Shakur fight first instead of people comparing it to the Farmer fights? I mean, like I said, man, I don't even compare it to the Farmer fight. I was actually close and competitive at some point. I got Shakur making it look easy. Zepeda, flat-footed fighter, similar to Valdez, a pressure fighter, come forward, throw punches. A guy like that's not going to beat Shakur. It's not happening. Shakur's going to smoke him. Go get the money. Tank fans funny and delusional. Shakur says, send the offer and I'll sign it. Shakur didn't even ask for a certain amount. That's what I'm trying to tell him, bro. He didn't even ask for a specific amount of money, so they won't try to say, oh, nah, he overpriced himself. No. Send the contract and I'll sign it. And look, my brother's over here making stuff up out of thin air about an offer that Shakur received, and he turned it down because he wanted a multi-fight deal, and he told him not to even send the offer if it was going to be for one fight. That shit never happened. We literally making up a whole storyline that never happened. Come on, my people. We got to do better than that. LOYY. Jay Smith really opened my mind. Boxing is a whole business and no verbal talk shit. Yeah, it's not about what people said, what people posted on social media. It's about sign that contract. Hash Bass, Jay Smith. How do you know that Shakur is being truthful? That Shakur is being truthful about what? That he's being true. How do I know that he's being truthful? Because he's calling them out and they not sending the contracts. They not trying to fight him. It's as simple as that. I'm watching as this whole thing is developing. I'm watching him trying to fight everybody. And I'm watching everybody trying to find excuses not to fight him. I watched Shakur Stevenson say, oh, well, I'm not taking that 25%, but we going to purse bid. See you at the purse bid. And I watched Devin Haney literally drop the belts like 3 or 4 days right before the purse bid. Right before the purse bid, Devin Haney dropped the title, ran from the whole division. Did you not see that? So I'm going by what's happening. People are ducking Shakur. I'm seeing it happen live as it happens. Come on now. Dry turkey. Espinosa says different. Like I said, my brother, you want to believe anybody that's spreading your narrative. Tank never told you that he sent an offer. Coach Cal never told you that he sent an offer. Nobody in PBC told you that they sent an offer. And you talking about Espinosa. Stop it, bro. Stop it. Stop it. Come on now. Punisher has never been stopped. Dry turkey. Why don't you believe him but believe Shakur? You're talking about why don't I believe him, but Espinosa has never said what you're saying it. You're turning it into what you want it to be. Espinosa never said that a contract was sent. Espinosa gave his opinion, and you're turning his opinion into what you want it to be. If Tank Davis never told you that he sent a contract, bro, you even admitted that a contract was never sent. You morphed it into, nah, yo, they offered it, but he said nah, so they never sent it. Like, who told you that business is done like that in boxing, my brother? That's what happens when you become a social media expert. You make up your own shit in your head how you think it makes sense, and you don't even know that you make no type sense. No type sense whatsoever. If Tank Davis wanted to fight Shakur, he would have sent them a contract, and then it would have been up to Shakur to take it or decline it. There is no such thing in boxing that we told you, and you said, nah, don't even send the offer. That doesn't happen in boxing, brother. You make yourself look bad when you try to be somebody who knows about the sport. You might know something about what goes inside the ring, but you definitely don't know nothing about boxing negotiations, my brother. People don't negotiate. But what do you think happened? Somebody gave Shakur a call. Yo, do you want us to send you a 1-fight deal? And Shakur said, nah. I want a 2-fight deal. Y'all can forget about it. That's what you think happened? Come on, bro. You gotta stop making stuff up out of thin air just to hate on Shakur. Steven Espinosa never said none of that stuff that you're saying. None of it. You literally making it up out of thin air just to hate on Shakur. Come on, bro. Go get the money. Tank team went with the Frank fight. Instead, I don't know what Frank done in the sport of boxing in Tank eyes, because he always say Shakur hasn't done anything. Yeah, that's one of the weakest narrative. Tankomaniacs do that too. They be like, nah, but Shakur never been on pay-per-view. He don't deserve it. And it's like, wait a minute. The overwhelming majority of people who Tank fought never been on pay-per-view either. None of them people selling out arenas. Why Shakur got to sell out arena if none of them dudes Tank fighting sold out an arena? But y'all know how it is. They got to raise the bar for Shakur, because that hate for Shakur. That's how I know that Shakur Stevenson is en route to being just like Floyd Mayweather, because he get the same hate and the same fake narratives put on him. Hash bash. People gotta be blind if they say Shakur isn't skillful. But we see Shakur stay arguing over money, but will fight Tank no matter the money. Shakur just wants to fight. Don't make no sense. Your opinion made no sense, bro. I don't even know how to respond to that. Your hate for Shakur makes you make no sense. Dry Turkey Espinosa wants to offer him a deal, and Shakur said, no, I'm looking for multi. I don't see why Espinosa would lie. Can't be taken to court over that. Bro, you talking too crazy, bro. Go ahead, drop that link. Drop the link. I'm going to go in the link right now and expose you right now live if you need me to do that. None of the shit that you saying went down the way you're saying it. You're fixing it to adapt to your hate for Shakur. Drop the link right there. Drop the link right there, and I'm going to expose you right now and show you that Espinosa never said that Shakur was offered a contract and he declined it. Never said that. Drop the link right there, and I'm going to prove it to you. Arch 30, Jay Smith adding some smoke to that Dry Turkey. Dry Turkey trying to get smoked out here easily. He's talking about it. First, he said that Shakur was sent the contract and declined it. Then he said that he wasn't sent the contract because he told him not to send it. Come on, man. Come on now. Come on. You dropped it. I don't see it, my brother. Let me drop the link, but I don't see the link. I don't see the link. Arch 30. I don't see the link, my brother. Drop that link. We waiting for it. Punisher. I say that because Zepeda put hands on Farmer, and Farmer has more power, healthy hands, and has never been stopped. Come on, man. You're going to compare Farmer to Shakur. He done been beat up 7 times, bro. Farmer been beat up 7 times. And he's little. He's little. There's no comparison to make, my brother. Go get the money. I remember when Tank told Devin to sell out an arena and they will fight. Devin sells out an arena and Tank team didn't respond. I'm trying to tell you. I'm still waiting for Dry Turkey to drop the link. He said that he dropped it, but I don't see it. Drop that link, Dry Turkey. Or go to the comment section of one of my videos and drop the link. so you could get cooked. So I could prove to you that Steven Espinosa never said any of the stuff that you said. You can't come to this live, my brother, and make stuff up out of thin air. Come on now. I try sending it. Okay, so look, I'm gonna do this. Let me show you. Look, I'm gonna show you my Instagram. Look at my Instagram, my brother. That's my Instagram. Our turkey, dry turkey. Look at my Instagram right there. J Smith 134. Go to my Instagram and drop the link right now. And I bet you I'ma smoke you. I bet you Steven Espinosa didn't say none of the stuff that you try to say about Shakur getting a contract or getting an offer and him turning it down. You said that he turned it down because he wanted a multi-fight deal. Go ahead and drop the link. There you go. You have my Instagram. I bet you if you drop the link right there, and there you see it. There you see it right there. Go to my Instagram and drop that link. And get cooked. Easily. R30. Underrated Will, gotta give it to Dry Turkey. He keeps coming back with nonsense. He keeps coming back every time that I go pop, he comes back weaker and weaker and weaker. The last one was like, why wouldn't you not believe him? It's not that I don't believe Espinosa. I don't believe you and the shit that you making up out of thin air. You're the one that I don't believe. Come on now. Talk about the link doesn't want to go through. Yeah, send it to my DM. Send it to my DM on Instagram, and I'll hit that link right now and show you that Steven Espinosa never said none of the shit that you're saying. You're really putting words in Steven Espinosa's mouth. Come on, bro. Come on. Dry Turkey. They have preliminary talks with Shakur team, but they wanted a long-term agreement, a multi-fight deal, so talks didn't continue. Those are the facts. Okay, since those are the facts, send the links. Send the link, my brother. Give me a wrench, and I will show up. I tell you what, I give you the wrench if you send me the link to my Instagram right now. Send me the link to my Instagram right now. I'll open it, and I'll give you the wrench. You can take it away right after. Punisher. Bro, I'm saying that because Cepeda put hands on Farmer in the rematch. And people were saying that Cepeda couldn't finish Farmer. Like, bro, Farmer is durable. Some fighters are just like that. I agree. I understand. Oh, now Dry Turkey doesn't have Instagram. Look, my brother, I understand what you're saying. Farmer is durable. But you cannot compare Farmer to Shakur, bro. Farmer's been beat up a bunch of times already at this point in his career. And he's a lot smaller than Shakur as well. So that's not a good comparison. You comparing a 3-division undefeated champion versus a guy with 7 losses. Come on, that's crazy work, my brother. Farmer is durable, but durable doesn't mean that he's nowhere near the skills that Shakur is. Or the level where Shakur is at. Doesn't say it. LLYY, Dry Turkey, tell me the video. I'm going to put the video. Link. There you go, Dry Turkey. Matter of fact, look, it's even easier, Dry Turkey. Just put the title of the video. We don't even need the link. I'll look for it right now. The title of the video that you're talking about, put the title of the video right there in the comments. Put the title of the video, and I'll look it up right now. Dry Turkey. Steven Espinosa details failed Gervonta versus Shakur and Lomachenko talks and why he's fighting Roach. That's the title? Alright. Watch this. That's a long title. Let me look for it for you. Steven Espinosa details. Steven Espinosa details failed Gervonta versus Shakur. We don't need the whole title. Steven Espinosa details fell Gervonta versus Shakur and Lomachenko. There we go. Watch this. I found it. So to start off, that's a Fight Hub TV video, right? I found it. I found it. Watch this. Watch Dry Turkey, how I'm gonna expose you. I found it. That's the video that you're talking about. Look at the title. Watch this.
I mean, when you have fighters the caliber of Tank, of Canelo.
Watch this. Stay with me, my peoples.
Early on, for reasons I won't go into. Come on. I just think they're a commitment other than just doing one fight. And so aside from that, to be candid, those are the big names at 135. I know Tank has gone up to 140.
Look, he's mentioning the big names at 135.
Look at this. You take Shakur out of it. Then there's a big drop off at 135 to be completely his best weight. So it would take a lot for him to get there. But I think, if we look at this, you take Shakur out of it. Then there's a big drop off at 135 to be completely honest. So, let's be clear, and I don't mean that as any disrespect to everybody else, but, in terms of household names and guys who will, Lamont is obviously a skilled history.
Look,
I look at this a little bit.
I found the long video, and I'm going forward.
And that's what I expect in this fight itself.
I guess when he signed before Matchroom, do you believe it's going to be probably a little bit harder now that he's with a Matchroom and he's there with, I guess,
that he was talking to PBC and TGB. If we look at sort of the landscape nowadays, I think we're seeing fights happen, and we're seeing fights sometimes not happen, but they're not happening for a different reason. I think it's less accurate to say that promoters and platforms are the barrier that they once were. In other words, you're seeing a lot more cross-promotional fights. You've seen PBC, everybody, on one issue, than they have been in the past. Anything to do with platforms or promoters, but, that had nothing to do with promoters and platforms. So I think, the days of there being big obstacles because of promoters and
people say he didn't want to fight the moment, he was probably like
discussions, they were, real offers. And I think you phrased it correctly. It was a pass from Lomachenko. I know I'm not saying he's ducking or any of those things that people start to say. There's 100 different reasons, why people might not have been the right time, or he wants to take the year off, or who knows what he was going through physically. So, but there was, I'm glad you reminded me, there was also that, very active attempt to get a Lomachenko fight. So, not fight, they were explored before we got to this.
Household names that we can get.
Ryan gets through his stuff.
There is absolutely nothing on there.
A lot of enthusiasm for that. His instructions, give me the biggest fight possible.
That urgency to see Tank get a fight with the big names, hopefully next year about that same way. Maybe Lamont Roche could last a little bit longer in the ring.
Because the reality is not Devin Haney.
Punisher, nah. I gotta disagree there, bro. Shakur's a good fighter, but find a different name to give him. The Boogeyman name is crazy. He's the Boogeyman. When nobody wants to fight you, that's what makes you the Boogeyman.
Style matchups we've seen, so anything can happen. And in the ring, it's a very different thing.
And over there,
I think what Canelo's point where, it's tougher.
Here we go. I found the short.
Preliminary discussions about the Shakur fight, early on, back early, for 2024 before this was scheduled. Didn't get very far for reasons I won't go into.
Come on.
I just think there were, I'm not sure that the time was right. I think, what Shakur was looking for was something different than, he was looking for more of a long-term commitment other than just doing one fight.
Listen. So there's a little snippet of, well, the timing wasn't right. I think, look what he said, Dry Turkey, to show the difference between what you try to say and what Steven Espinoza said. You said that Shakur turned down a fight with Tank because he wanted a multi-fight deal. That's exactly what you said. And Steven Espinoza saying, well, there's multiple reasons why it didn't happen. I think that he was looking for something else. He was looking for a long-term deal. That's not what you were saying, brother. Preliminary talks and a fight was never offered. Look at the difference between what Steven Espinoza is saying in that video versus what you said in the beginning. You said that Shakur was offered a fight with Tank and he turned it down because he wanted a multi-fight deal. That never happened. Shakur was never offered a fight with Tank. Ever. Steven Espinoza just said there were preliminary talks. It didn't get far because he wanted more than what we were willing to give him. Something along those lines. So what Steven Espinoza said, my brother, is very different from what you were saying. Very different. Which I already knew that. I already knew that's how it's going to play out, man. I put a little time in showing you that it did not go the way you were saying it, brother. Did not go. Is that we don't have to agree to disagree. Shakur was never offered a fight. He was never offered a fight. No contract was ever sent. No fight was ever offered. Shakur was a free agent. He was a free agent. And all Espinoza's saying is that as a free agent, he was going after him, Matchroom was going after him, and they was offering him a better deal, and we're not going to get into the details, were his exact words. You can't put in your own details, my brother. Look what you said earlier. Nah, Shakur was actually offered a Tank fight, but he turned it down because he wanted a different deal. No. Steven Espinoza never said that he was offered a Tank fight. Steven Espinoza never said that they sent the contract. He never said any of that. So you really put your words in Steven Espinoza's mouth to feed your narrative, my brother. I told you. Before I saw the video, I already knew you was doing that, brother. I knew it. Underrated Will. But for right now, I can't hate. He giving boogeyman vibes. He's a boogeyman. Everybody want to fight everybody except Shakur. Look, Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez, they both want to fight Boots. They willing to fight Boots. Yet they both could have fought Shakur and chose not to. Come on now. Come on. Hash Bass. Shakur was looking for a long-term deal. Could mean anything, but it's similar. It's not similar because him looking for a long-term deal doesn't mean that they couldn't make an offer. Steven Espinoza did not get into the details. They never sent an offer. They never tried to make a fight happen with Tank Davis. Come on now. He made that very clear. Underrated Will. Even when it comes to WBC and more. I'm trying to tell you. Shakur Stevenson is the real boogeyman. Underrated Will. Read the comments that Dry Turkey crazy forget that's Thanksgiving dinner. Yo, Dry Turkey got cooked. He started off with Shakur turned down an offer. To nah, it's just preliminary hearings and the business didn't work out. That's far from turning down an offer, Dry Turkey. He never turned down an offer. An offer was never sent. Your original statement was that Shakur turned down an offer to fight. Matter of fact, I'm going to remind you. You asked, why didn't Shakur fight Devin Haney, take the offer from Devin Haney, and why Shakur turned down the offer to fight Tank Davis? Did Shakur turn down an offer to fight Tank Davis? No, that never happened. You made that up out of thin air just to hate on Shakur. Never happened. Never turned down an offer to fight Tank. Not once. Arch 30. Dry Turkey translation is crazy work. Yo. Like, I already knew, my brother. I've dealt with a bunch of dry turkeys who take an interview and turn it into whatever they want it to be. In that interview, at no point did Steven Espinosa say, we sent the contract. We try to get the fight. We try to make the fight happen. If anything, he was like, I'm not going to get into details. I'm not going to get into details. But it wasn't the right timing, was his exact word. But dry turkey, you didn't hear that part. It wasn't the right timing. And I won't get into details. You grab a little snippet and you turned it into whatever you want it to be, brother. Come on now. Come on now. Dry turkey Espinosa clearly said Shakur team wanted a long-term agreement, not a one-fight deal. They clearly said that. But when did he say Tank Davis try to make the fight or try to send the contract? When he was talking about that, he didn't even mention Tank Davis. Didn't even mention Tank Davis. Come on now. Who is Shakur to not take the deal? There was no deal, brother. What are you talking about? You aren't the A side. Okay, dry turkey, I see. You're going to do the Tankomaniac stuff and play the fanager. Now you're going to be the fanager. You really want to play fanager and argue about A side and B side? Really? Come on, man. That's where y'all Tankomaniacs be missing me. When y'all start playing fanagers. What you going to do next? You're going to tell me, nah, Tank put butts in seats and he does pay-per-view. Bro, you're not going to get a check from this. I'm not going to get a check from them. So don't be concerned with who's the A side, who's the B side. That's not your concern or mine. I don't know why Tankomaniacs want to make these arguments about who's the A side, who's the B side. Steven Espinosa just told your ass it wasn't the right time. You see, I take Steven Espinosa's words as what they are. We have preliminary talks. And it wasn't the right time. I'm taking his words as they are. You really sat here and tried to say, nah, Shakur turned down a fight with Tank Davis because he wanted a multi-fight deal. Espinosa never said that he turned down a fight with Tank Davis. How the hell did you make that up in your head, bro? You think I'm being a Shakur Stevenson fan by just calling out the facts as they happen? Or you're being a Tankomaniac by making up inside your own head what Steven Espinosa actually meant? And you put words in Espinosa's mouth talking about Shakur turned down a fight with Tank Davis. Huh? When did Espinosa say that Shakur turned down a fight with Tank Davis? Because he did not say that once. I'm pretty sure he did not say that. You said it and put it in his mouth. Come on, man. That Tankomaniac stuff is always going to get debunked. You try to put words in Steven Espinosa's mouth, and I fact-checked you. I showed you that he did not say what you try to say. He did not say that Shakur turned down a fight down with Tank Davis. Never said that. But that was a good try. That was a good try, because I'm pretty sure when you said it, the last thing in your mind was that I was going to look up the video and show you that he never said that. You said that, not Steven Espinosa. But that was a good try. Dry turkey. So Devin Haney 25% to Shakur was a lie. Now Tank Team and Espinosa lie. Bro, I never said that the 25 cents to Devin Haney was a lie. I never said that. Now you want to do the mental gymnastics? I remind you what I said. I said Devin Haney on for 25%. You asked me why Shakur didn't take it. I told you Shakur didn't take the 25% offer because he didn't have to. He was the mandatory. He took Devin Haney to purse bid. Do you know how the purse bid works? I'd be happy to explain it to you. I'd be happy. You see, that's the difference when you're being a Tankomaniac fanboy and a hater and when you're actually an analyst and you know what the hell you're talking about. You know what a purse bid is? And you know how much the champions get in a purse bid? Between 75 and 80%. If Devin Haney would have went to purse bid with Shakur Stevenson, he would have got 75 to 80%, which means he would have got about the same amount of money. Shakur would have got the 25% or less in the purse bid. Yet, Devin Haney, 3 to 4 days before the purse bid, dropped the title and left from the division. Who do you think, Duck? You don't have to play dumb. We don't have to play dumb. Why you stuck on the 25%, but you don't keep telling the story? How did the negotiations end? Did they end at the 25%? Or did they end when Devin Haney didn't go to purse bid and drop his title and ran from the whole division? Come on now. You got to work with all the facts, my brother. What you did with Espinosa, now you want to do it with Devin Haney. With Espinosa, you try to take a little bit of the information in the video and turn it into whatever you want it to be. Something that Espinosa never said. Now with Devin Haney, you're doing the same thing. You holding on to that 25% for dear life, but you're not saying nothing about the fact that Devin Haney didn't go to purse bid, relinquished his title, and ran from the division. So who duck? Come on, brother. I'm just giving you the facts. That's the difference between facts and opinion. You could give your opinion all you want, but we know the facts of what actually happened. Dry Turkey, I thought I gave you great info. My brother, how are you going to give me great info when you told me that Shakur turned down a fight with Tank Davis, didn't sign the contract because it wasn't a multi-fight deal, and no contract was ever sent? That's not great information. That's a lie. Like, you literally made that shit up out of thin air. How is that great information? And then you referred me to a Steven Espinosa video, which I just showed you. Steven Espinosa never said Shakur turned down a fight with Tank. Never said that they sent Shakur a contract to fight Tank. Where the hell, how did you decide that he turned that fight down? How did you decide it? You really made up your own facts. Your alternate facts. That's crazy work, brother. That's crazy work. LOYY, J. Smith getting intense. Punisher, John Parham, I'm telling you, it's fire. Hash Bass, how much Devin and Shakur was supposed to split in the original deal, and it's a possibility the purse bid might have been a lot less. Brother, the purse bid was only 3 days to go. Why would Devin not wait for the purse bid to find out how much money he's going to get? He didn't even wait for the purse bid. So how do you not wait for the purse bid, drop the title, avoid your mandatory, but it's Shakur that's ducking you because he didn't take your offer? Listen to yourself, bro. Look in the mirror and repeat that shit. Shakur took him to a purse bid. He dropped the title, ran from the division, but it's Shakur that ducked. Really? Come on, man. It's another level of hate for Shakur for you to try to say he ducked when he took him to purse bid. Come on now. Dry Turkey. If preliminary talks fail, I'm not sure why I'd continue making a contract for it. It's not about continue to make a contract. Shakur Stevenson was a free agent. A fight with Tank Davis was never offered. Steven Espinosa's never telling you that a fight with Tank Davis was ever offered. He's not telling you that Shakur turned down a fight with Tank Davis. He's telling you, in fact, that the timing wasn't right because Shakur wanted a different type of deal. But he's not getting into any details as to what caused Shakur to not take the offer or what caused them to not send an offer. You're making up inside your head what you think happened and why you think they went the way that they went. But Steven Espinosa never said the things that you said in the video. Come on now. Dry Turkey, just seems like in every situation Shakur is trying to flex. I mean, brother, if you hating on Shakur, you're always finding a way to make it seem like it's him. But at the end of the day, you, me, and everybody in this life knows if Tank Davis want to fight Shakur, he could fight Shakur. He could send him a contract and fight him. When Lomachenko dropped out of that fight with Tank Davis, they was both free. Shakur said, yo, send the contract and I'ma sign it. Send it. Did Tank Davis send the contract? Nope. You see? But you don't question that. You always find a hate angle on Shakur where you could point at him. But then Tank, 30 years old, haven't fought Devin Haney, haven't fought Teofimo, haven't fought Shakur, haven't fought any of the best in any of the divisions that he fought at, but you want to focus on Shakur. Shakur not signing a contract that was never sent to him. Come on, bro. That's clearly on some hater mode. John Parham. Saifu, this boxing, bro, not UFC. Facts, man. This is boxing. Don't come over here with that UFC stuff, my peoples. Respect for UFC, but we ain't talking UFC over here. But Alexander fight, well, you have to appreciate. MMA fighter can easily cook any boxer anywhere. What? Man, listen. I don't got time for you, brother. Go cook yourself. Hash Bass. I'm not saying Shakur ducked or Haney ducked, but Shakur wanted to get paid and jumping in the ring like he's not about that life. I mean, you're talking about Shakur didn't want to get paid, but why are you not accepting that Devin Haney ducked? If Shakur was his mandatory, you see, this is what y'all fail to want to accept. When somebody's your mandatory, they don't have to take your offer. They're your mandatory, brother. Dry turkey. I need you to understand that, my brother. If a fighter is your mandatory, they don't need to accept your offer because they're your mandatory. What ended up happening since they didn't fight? Devin Haney left the whole division and dropped his title. That right there tells us who ducked. Who got Devin Haney's belt right now? Shakur Stevenson. Shakur literally deboed Devin out of his belt. Told him, no, I don't need to take that offer. I'm your mandatory, buddy. Let's go to purse split. Let's go to purse bid. And what happened? And I'm telling you this, my peoples, because I was following up on that fight. I was begging for Shakur versus Devin Haney. That same day, I was posting, that same week, I was posting videos like Shakur and Devin Haney is going down. They going to purse bid. No more running for Devin Haney. That's it. Your running days are over. You're going to have to fight Shakur. And this man dropped the title and left the division right before the purse bid. How is it? Think about it. I want you to think about this, dry turkey, so you can see it's a hater narrative on Shakur. Why would you ask why Shakur didn't take the 25%, but you don't ask why Devin Haney didn't go to purse bid? Why you don't ask that? Why didn't Devin Haney go to purse bid? Why did Devin Haney prefer to drop his title and go to 140 than defend versus Shakur? See? So you ask about questions about Shakur, but you don't ask about questions about Devin Haney. You don't ask questions about Tank Davis. Why? Why y'all don't ask the questions about the other guys? Only about the fighter that you want to hate on, my brother. Dry turkey. Devin Haney took a bad contract to go to Australia for Cambosos, but he had to take a risk so he could put himself in the power position. I'm going to show you, dry turkey, why that sounds like a good comparison, but it's a horrible comparison. In your head, it sounds like, yeah, Devin did what he had to do. But I'm going to tell you why that's a horrible comparison. Devin Haney was a champion, and George Kambosos was a champion. Do you know what that means? George Kambosos was never going to be Devin Haney's mandatory. They're in different sanctioning bodies. In other words, the only way Devin Haney was ever going to fight Kambosos was by accepting their deal. He didn't have no choice. If you want to unify titles, or he wanted to become undisputed, he had no choice. That is the difference that you fail to acknowledge. Kambosos was not a mandatory for Devin Haney. He didn't have to fight Devin Haney. He could have just said, you know what? You don't want to come here? We're not fighting you. Shakur was his mandatory. Stop ignoring that fact, my brother. Shakur was his mandatory. As his mandatory, he didn't have to take his 25% offer because he was going to take up to purse bid. And what happened when they should have went to purse bid? Devin Haney dropped the title and left the division. Why? Think about this, dry turkey. Why you talk so much about the 25%, but you don't say nothing about Devin Haney dropping the title and leaving the division? Why you don't say anything about that? Like, that's when the negotiations finish with Shakur and Devin. The 25% offer, in case you don't know this, the 25% offer and Shakur not accepting it, that didn't end this whole situation between them two. What ended it is when Devin dropped his title and left from the division. So if Devin Haney dropped his title and left from the division, who's ducking? Who is ducking? Ask yourself that question. I know you want to cling to that 25%. Nah, Shakur should have took it. Shakur should have took it. But you're not a boxer. You're not stepping in the ring. You're not supposed to say how much money or what deal a fighter's supposed to take. That's fanboy stuff. We supposed to just see why they didn't fight. Well, they didn't fight because Devin Haney dropped the title and left from the division. That's why they didn't fight. That's the reality. Punisher. Fast, bro. People were more focused and in awe that Devin was undisputed, that Shakur had nothing to offer, that he would have got paid the most in that fight with that 25%. That's why people wasn't so hard. That's why people wasn't so hard on Devin, and he moved up plus fighting a champion and then winning. People didn't care anymore. I mean, look, people can see it however they want to see it. But at the end of the day, it was Devin Haney who relinquished his title and left the division to avoid fighting Shakur. That's it. There's no getting around that. There is no getting around that. You got a mandatory breathing in your neck. Like, oh, I don't need to take. Because that's what y'all need to learn, my peoples. A mandatory does not need to take your offer. He's your mandatory. And what y'all don't even realize, that Devin Haney gave him a one-shot, take it or leave it offer and ran from the division. Y'all really believe that offer was real? That offer was for Shakur Stevenson haters to cling on to it and not accept that Devin Haney ducked them. How real was that offer? How real do you think that offer was when he refused to go to purse bid and ran from the division right afterwards? Devin wasn't trying to fight Shakur. He didn't want to fight Shakur. That offer was for the Shakur haters, so you have some ammunition to try to argue like, look, nah, he should have took the offer. Come on, man. Stop. Drive Mexican. Que bola, hermano. What's the deal, my brother? Hash Bass. Devin Haney outgrew the weight, but Devin isn't the one with all that accomplishment, and Shakur isn't the guy either. Time will tell. He outgrew the weight. Bro, what are you talking about? He sent an offer to Shakur, and literally a month later, now I'm leaving the division. You telling me that within 1 month he outgrew the weight? Stop it. You see? When you want to hate on Shakur, how easily it is to debunk what you say. He outgrew the weight a month later and decided to leave the division? Stop it, bro. Come on. Dry Turkey, J. Smith. Devin is a big weight bully, so he had to move up. So I'm telling you the same thing I just told Hash Bass, Dry Turkey. Are you telling me that Devin Haney was ready to fight Shakur, and a month later that said he couldn't make weight anymore? Does that even sound believable? Does that even sound believable, bro? Come on. Punisher, I feel you, but I'm just answering your question on why people wasn't tripping on Devin as much as Shakur. Nah, my brother, Punisher. The reason people wasn't tripping on Devin and Shakur the same way is because they hate Shakur. So they find a way to try to make it seem like he was the one ducking. It's all about the Shakur hate. All about the Shakur hate. Because at the end of the day, here's the facts. People say why Shakur didn't take the 25%. Who the fuck in here is a prize fighter? Who up in here is getting in the ring with elite level fighters? Which one of us should say, yeah, he got to take the offer? I don't want to disrespect nobody up in here. I don't want nobody disrespecting me. But none of us is qualified to say what type of offer a prize fighter should take. None of us. Only Shakur haters sit there talking about, yeah, he should have took the 25%. Man, shut the fuck up. You never been in a ring in your life. What are you talking about? He should have took the offer. You see? So what happens is with haters, you inject your own opinion about what a prize fighter should have did. I don't inject opinion. I'm giving you the facts. Shakur Stevenson did not have to take the 25% offer because he was mandatory. What he did, he took Devin Haney to a purse bid, and the purse bid would have went down and they would have fought. Devin Haney pulled out of a purse bid, dropped his titles, and left the divisions. Who duck? It's obvious, my peoples. It's obvious. Fight fans have to stop arguing about what you think a fighter should have did. Come on, man. You like, none of us up in here, I'm assuming, ain't never seen millions of dollars. None of us here is fighting elite level fighters. And you have the audacity to stand there and say, nah, yo, he should have took that 25%. Come on, man. Come on. Y'all got to stop. Hash Bass. If anyone have their opinion on Shakur, Jay Smith will call you a hater. But he says he's not a Tank hater. I'm not a Tank hater. I'm not a Tank hater. You see, the difference between me and you, Hash Bass, is that in every video that I make, you try to hate on Shakur. Every single video that you talk about Shakur more than you talk about Tank. Meanwhile, when I talk about Tank's skills, I always give him his props. I always give him his credit. He ducking Shakur. That's the reality. What can I tell you, bro? He ducking Shakur. Been ducking him. Everybody but Tankomaniacs know is the truth. Dry turkey. I'm not mad at fighters getting paid or negotiating. That's business. However, fighters have to take risks. Floyd Mayweather did it. Why can't Shakur? Who says Shakur can't take risks? Nobody says Shakur can't take risks. He was sending them to purse bid. See? So, dry turkey, let me explain to you something that I was going to say earlier that I think you do not understand. Devin Haney offered Shakur 25%. We all know that. Brother, when you go to purse bid, the champion gets between 75 and 80%. So what I'm trying to explain to you, my brother, is that Shakur Stevenson, if they would have went to purse bid, he may have even gotten less than the 25%. He may have actually gotten 80%. Devin Haney may have actually got more money if they would have went to purse bid. You don't have to take my word for it. Google it. Google the purse bids and see how's the split between the champion and the mandatory. Google it. You don't have to take my word for it. So right there, you should understand Devin Haney was going to make right around the same amount of money if he would have went to purse bid. Why did he choose not to go to purse bid? You're so focused on pointing at Shakur and giving your opinion about what you think Shakur should have done, which is crazy work. Like, why is with your opinion about what you think Shakur should have done is relevant? It's not relevant. It's irrelevant. It's incoherent. It's crazy work. Who gives a fuck about what you think Shakur should have done? Who gives a fuck about what I think Shakur should have done? So while you stand there talking about what a prize fighter should have done in your eyes, when you never been in a ring in your life, that's obvious. All I'm telling you is the facts. Shakur took him to purse bid, and Devin Haney ran from the division and dropped his title. That's the difference, my brother. While you and Hash Bass keep trying to inject your own opinion about what you think a prize fighter should have done, I'm just giving you the facts of what actually happened. That's it. I just stick to the facts, my brother. That's all it is. Punisher, I also said the offer was BS. The offer was a strategy. They offered Shakur 25% because they knew he was going to say no. The moment he said no, they was like, yeah, now we could get out of the division and we could say we made an offer. Shakur haters are going to run with that, which they did. How do you drop your titles, run from the whole division, but the guy ducked you? Come on now. Hash Bass. Jay Smith, you have a name for Tank fans, but what's the name for Shakur fans? I mean, is that I don't see Shakur fans talking about Tank. I still look. I've been going live for a minute now. I don't see Shakur fans going up in here trying to hate on Tank. It's Tank fans like yourself who spent all this time talking about Shakur. What can I tell you? When Shakur Stevenson fans start acting like Tankomaniacs, they'll probably get a name too. Underrated Will. I need a clean parlay, Jay Smith. Give me 4 fighters I should parlay. My donation to Box Center. I mean, let's go with the 3 favorites for next week. A matter of fact, let's go with the 4 favorites for next week. Devin, Teofimo, Ryan, and the following day, Canelo Alvarez. That's 4 right there. Punisher. Guys, if y'all don't like Shakur, stop mentioning him so we can change the topic. Guys, please. I don't mind Shakur, but I've reached my limit. The Mexican G. Yo, I'm telling you, Hash Bass goes in this live to talk about Shakur every single day. Come on now. Honestly, if Shakur took the low ball offer and whooped Haney, it could have took his career to a whole new level. So you see, that's what you're doing, the Mexican G. You're injecting what you think Shakur could have did or what you think Shakur should have did. And all I'm taking is the facts. The facts is that Devin Haney dropped the title and ran from the division, ran from his mandatory. That's it. I'm just telling you the facts. You could put your opinion into it, respect, but I'm giving you the facts of what actually happened. Dry turkey, 30% was the normal amount of fighter gets in Shakur position. Dev offered 25%. Take it, especially if purse bid wasn't going to make him more anyway. So again, dry turkey, you're injecting what you think he should have did. But you're not a fighter. You're not a prize fighter. You're not a trainer. You're not a promoter. Who are you to say what offer Shakur should take, bro? Your opinion is irrelevant. Your opinion about what a fighter should or should not take is irrelevant. That's what you have to understand, my brother. No fighter is sitting wherever they're at saying, yo, the fans think that I should do this, so I'm gonna take this fight because the fans are saying that I should. No, brother. That's not how business works. That's not how. I know it makes sense in your head that, hey, this fighter should have did this and should have did that. We talking about millionaires, brother. Shakur Stevenson is a millionaire. Devin Haney's a millionaire. Those are negotiations that you clearly don't understand. You're saying what makes sense to you. And yo, nobody knows how to talk about millions more than broke people. And I'm not saying that you broke, like you don't have a dime to your name, but none of us are millionaires. For whatever reason, people who never dealt with millions are the ones that love to talk about, yo, he should have took this and he should have took that. Bro, don't be a fanager just to hate on Shakur. Don't be a fanager. Be a fight fan. That's why boxing fans always have better opinions than fanagers. Because you start formulating opinions like a boxing manager. Like, nah, he should have did this, and he should have did that, and he could have did this. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Dry turkey. All of our opinions are irrelevant right now. We talking boxing. Come on, brother. Again, when it comes to what deal a fighter should take or should not take, your opinion is irrelevant. My opinion is irrelevant too. We're not involved in boxing at a level where our opinion means shit. You're talking about he should have took an offer. As soon as you tell me that a fighter should have took an offer, you already lost me. You lost me right there, because, like, what are you talking about, man? Who the fuck are you to say that a fighter should have took an offer? Come on, man. The Mexican G, the fans' opinion may not be everything, but the opinions of boxing fans are definitely a factor in the sport. Hash Bass. That's not true, Jay Smith. It's a reason I saw at 126 and 130 Shakur was dominant, but at 135, they say Shakur is the best, but never dominated at 135. I don't know what you're talking about. Shakur is still an undefeated champion. I don't know what you're talking about. Jose Chavez. I was a hater until I got a fire stick. Yo, the reality, that's why I never like to argue opinion. You know why I don't like to argue opinion? Because then all we're going to do is back and forth. Like, you're going to say, oh, Shakur should have took the offer. And I'm going to say, well, he didn't have to take the offer. The difference is that I'm giving you a fact. He did not have to take the offer because he was mandatory. That's a fact. But when you say he should have took the offer, that's your opinion. A non-boxer, non-trainer, non-promoter is saying what a prize fighter should have took as a deal. Hey, what the fuck you know about boxing negotiations? Not a damn thing. So it's irrelevant. What you think a fighter should take is irrelevant. Now, when I tell you Shakur was mandatory and didn't have to take a deal, that's not irrelevant. That is a fact. That's why I love facts, my peoples, because they're undisputable. You cannot dispute facts. All you could do is keep injecting your own opinion as to what you think a fighter should have done. Come on now. LLYY. I just finished watching Shakur Pro debut. It was the same as Ryan. That boy has so much fans, though. The beginning, same as Ryan. I mean, he still got a bunch of fans now. It's not like in the beginning. He still got a... Yo, Shakur Stevenson's last fight on ESPN was the most professional boxing event, the highest ratings, the most watched professional boxing event on ESPN that year. And you know how many top level, how many championship fighters fight on ESPN? And Shakur was the most watched? Come on now. Shakur's one of the biggest stars in boxing. It's only the haters that sell that narrative. Nah, he's not a big star. He's not that big of a star. But, come on, we just got to see what's going on. If Shakur wasn't that big of a star, why when his contract was up with Top Rank, Floyd Mayweather wanted to sign him? PBC wanted to sign him. Eddie Hearn wanted to sign him. Top Rank wanted to re-sign him. Come on now. Shakur was literally the hottest free agent out. Everybody wanted to sign him. But according to Shakur haters, he not a big star. Come on, my people. Come on, my people. I'm just keeping it real. The Mexican G. Boxing fans are the reason Shakur has a job. Saying our opinion doesn't matter is crazy. So, our opinion on what deals a fight should and should not take is irrelevant. Fighters do not take deals based on what we want. If that was the case, we would see all the fight we want back to back to back to back, right? But this is what I don't understand. You see how you're saying, well, the opinions matter, right? Yo, for how many years have fans been calling for Tank Davis to fight Shakur Stevenson? Or Tank Davis to fight Teofimo Lopez? Or Tank Davis to fight Devin Haney? What happened? So it's like people want to have an opinion when it comes to Shakur and what he should do, but where's the opinions about what Tank Davis should do? Tank is 30 years old. Shakur is 3 years younger than Tank Davis. So why all this pressure about what Shakur should do, but y'all don't give Tank Davis that same energy? Explain that to me, my brother. Jose Chavez, I can't wait to get my money worth this Cinco de Mayo boxing weekend. Fire Stick is on standby. Ooh, Fire Stick is going to be loading. Listen, I gotta be honest. I'm super excited about that weekend. Of course, We still got Conor Ben and Chris Eubank Jr. next week. We got to get past that, which is going to be an explosive fight. The Mexican G, that's actually a good point. Tank has maintained a large fan base while avoiding big fights. But you see right there, the same people who's putting that pressure on what Shakur should have did, they don't talk about Tank Davis. Look, Hash Bass. Hash Bass is a Tank Davis fan, and he only rose up in here to talk about Shakur. He will talk about Shakur in 100 lives. And if you don't ask him about Tank, he don't even bring Tank Davis up. But that shows you the level of star power that Shakur Stevenson has. Where Tank Davis fans talk more about Shakur than they talk about Tank. When it's time to talk about fight this guy, fight that guy, look what they say. Oh, Shakur should have took this. Shakur should have did that. But what about Tank Davis, bro? What should Tank Davis do? 30 years old, still haven't fought any other bats. What should Tank Davis do? Do y'all ever have an opinion on that? But that's what shows you Shakur's greatness. That's what shows Shakur's greatness. To where people always give him a different energy, a different perspective, a different angle. No, do this, do that. And then when it comes to Tank Davis, motherfuckers be like, Tank Davis fighting somebody that never held a title. Tank Davis fighting guys that he's bringing up from a lower division. Come on. But as soon as Shakur come up, they got an opinion about what Shakur should have done. Come on, man. Come on, man. Punisher. We got it. Shakur the GOAT. Love more Hinduism. Shakur style not pleasing enough. You see? But that's a matter of opinion. But if you don't like his style, that's reasonable. If you don't like his style, that's reasonable, my brother, to say, nah, I don't like his style. The problem is when you start injecting your opinion about what you think he should have done, the contracts that you think he should have signed, but then you don't have that same energy with other fighters. Come on now. Come on now. The Mexican G. But I know he's skeptical of taking on big fights. If I remember correctly, he got mad at Floyd for making him fight Jose Pedraza. And the funny thing about that Tank Davis was the favorite to beat Pedraza. Nobody gave Pedraza even a slight chance. Everybody had Tank Davis knocking him out, which is exactly what happened. But, you know, he was a reigning champion at the time. And by the way, Jose Pedraza is the only reigning champion that Tank has fought in his own division. Because I'm going to remind y'all, when he fought Leo Santa Cruz, he was a 135-pounder who went down to 130 to fight Leo Santa Cruz. Beat him and ran right back up to 135. Mario Barrios was a secondary title holder while somebody else was the undisputed champion. So you know that was a fake belt. So Pedraza's literally the only guy, and Tank Davis moved down. No, Tank Davis didn't move down to fight him. He was in that division. That's the only reigning champion that he's fought in the division where he's currently fighting at 30 years old. Come on, man. I'm only spitting the facts. Punisher. Shakur next fight is fired, though. All jokes aside, can't wait. That's going to be a good fight. But I believe that he's going to do Pedraza. That he's going to do Zepeda easy. Easy work. That's going to be like Valdez. A flat-footed fighter, if Shakur ever loses, it's not going to be to a flat-footed fighter. Come forward, put pressure. Nah. He's going to be a slick boxer. That's what it's going to take to beat Shakur. Jose Chavez. Shakur should move up to 140 or 147. Why wait? You see, you're injecting your opinion about what you think he should do. To me, that doesn't even make no sense. If he's making weight comfortably at 135, what makes sense to me is that he unifies titles and even try to go for undisputed. If he's able to get that undisputed crown, then move to 140. That's what makes sense to me. But why leave now when you don't have all the titles in the division? And you want to fight the other champion. You want to fight Tank Davis. He goes to 140. He killed the Tank Davis fight right then and there. I already had Tank Davis fans. Hash Bash told me, oh, Tank can't fight Devin Haney and he can't fight Teofimo Lopez because they're at a higher division. And everybody could go up to fight somebody, but Tank Davis can't. He's already at a lower division. So Shakur Stevenson is sticking around at 135 trying to get that Tank Davis fight. That's what makes sense to me. Punisher, I like Tank, but I always keep it a buck. Tank best win beating Pedraza is crazy. That's his best win, Pedraza. And Pedraza is been a stepping stone for Keyshawn Davis and a bunch of other fighters who beat him up. Bunch of people beat him up. Stabby, wasn't Pedraza the betting favorite? Hell no. Pedraza was the underdog. Pedraza was expected to get beat up. Beat up. The Mexican G, William Zepeda, looking terrible against Tevin Farmer. He struggled against a washed journeyman. I mean, I don't consider Tevin Farmer a washed journeyman. I consider Tevin still a good fighter, a very good fighter. But, and I'm going to tell you what. If you look at that fight, Pedraza was dominating him. And it's almost like he lost a bit of a step by the 6th, 7th round maybe. And Farmer started stepping it up, using his footwork a little bit more, winning rounds. But Zepeda beat him. Zepeda beat him. Punisher. Zepeda bigger than Oscar, right? Honestly, I'm not sure. But I think he probably is, because Oscar Valdez is a smaller fighter. So I if I'm guessing, I'll assume that he is bigger. In your opinion, who is better and a better matchup against Shakur, Oscar or Zepeda? I think Oscar and Zepeda are a similar matchup. And the reason I say that is because they have a very similar style. They're both flat-footed fighters. They're both guys that are going to come forward, try to put the pressure, try to, punches and bunches. I don't think that type of fight is going to beat Shakur. I think if Shakur ever gets beat, it's going to be a guy that's going to have a slick style of boxing, a guy that's going to be able to outbox him, outpoint him, counterpunch him. Somebody with a style like Abdullah Mason, for example. And we're not going to see Shakur and Abdullah Mason, but I'm saying, and not right now because Abdullah Mason still got some development. But I think, somebody who has that style and is more advanced in that development process is the person who have a shot of beating Shakur. Jose Chavez, if Shakur runs versus Zepeda, it will be embarrassing. That's Shakur hater stuff. Shakur doesn't run. There's no such thing as running in boxing. That's just hater stuff. It's called defense. It's called footwork. What you're calling running is actually called footwork. And he's going to use that footwork and he's going to outbox him and he's going to make it look easy. It's only going to be embarrassing to the people that don't like Shakur. And I promise you, he don't give a fuck about the people that don't like him. I promise you that. The Mexican G. Wasn't Jose Pedraza undefeated before facing Tank? I think that he was undefeated before facing Tank, but if you look at his resume, you don't know anybody that he beat before facing Tank. One of those resumes that you put together in Puerto Rico where you don't know anybody on there. Go look at Pedraza's resume. You don't know anybody in that resume. So you see, don't make somebody undefeated to give them credit when you haven't looked at the resume. Punisher. How did he struggle? He won way more rounds than Farmer. And see, like I said, people tripping on Zepeda because Farmer is durable as fuck. See, Shakur, my head. I mean, I didn't see it that way. I saw Zepeda beating Farmer comfortably. I know that Farmer picked up and won a couple of late rounds, but he was way behind on the cards. Zepeda did him in. Stabby, Tank opened up as the 210 underdog versus Pedraza. The line did close at 160 for Tank as the favorite, but it's still close to a 50-50 fight. But still, he was the favorite. By the time they stepped in the ring, Tank Davis was the favorite to win that fight. And, you could say it was close to 50-50, but he was still the favorite. He was the challenger, challenging the champion, and he was the favorite. That's my point. And you're talking about the betting lines. Because if you're able to go back to the social media posts, everybody expected Tank Davis to knock him out. I did not see one person saying, yo, Pedraza's going to get him. Pedraza's going to upset him. Nobody. Nobody had Pedraza winning that fight. Stavi, don't cap on Tank name. I'm from B-More. You tell me, my brother, what have I said that is cap? Tell me one thing that I said about Tank that is cap. Jose Chavez, I'm sorry for hating. I forgot I got my fire stick. My bad. Love more Hinduism. He beat a great Lyft driver. Stavi, my brother, stay humble. It's okay to be wrong. I mean, what exactly was I wrong about, my brother? You got to tell me, because I don't know what you're referring to. That's the thing. I don't go with opinion. I go with facts. You just said that Tank Davis was the favorite. When they stepped in the ring, Tank Davis was the favorite. So what exactly was I wrong about, my brother? Listen, if you tell me something that I was wrong about it, and I was wrong about it, I'll be the first to be like, oh shit, I got it wrong. I'll be the first to say it. Facts over feelings. That's what I like, man. That's what I like. That's why with Shakur Stevenson, his haters, all they got is feelings. All they got is their feelings. Shakur should have did this, and Shakur should have did that, and he could have did this. That's your feelings telling you that. We know the facts of what actually happened. The Mexican G. I think Mario Barrios is a quality opponent. He beat Ugas, who beat Pacquiao. That's a good win. That's a good win for Tank Davis. But go ahead, Stavi, so you could correct me if I'm wrong. Tank Davis went to the 140 division to fight Mario Barrios for a secondary title, while Josh Taylor was the undisputed champion. You think about that. The undisputed champion was Josh Taylor at the very moment that Tank Davis moved up to fight Mario Barrios for a secondary title. Mario Barrios won that secondary title, which was vacant, by fighting a guy who had like 8 professional fights. The PBC has done an amazing job with that. Getting those vacant titles versus lower level opponents, or versus guys who haven't accomplished shit. Mario Barrios grabbed the secondary title versus a guy with 8 fights, and then right after that he fought Tank Davis. So go ahead, Stavi. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me what I'm wrong when I'm just telling you the facts. Tank Davis went up to 140, beat Mario Barrios for a secondary title, literally a Mickey Mouse belt, and ran right back down to 135 without even a single defense of that 140 Mickey Mouse belt. Y'all tell me what I'm lying about. Raw Dog, Devin has roid gut. Nah, my brother. I'm not going to put Devin out there like that, because there's no information to suggest that he's never popped dirty. The Mexican G. I forgot Josh Taylor was the man for a while. Teofimo killed that hype on his name. Josh Taylor, but he's for real. Josh Taylor's a top level fighter, but he was the undisputed champion when Tank Davis fought Mario Barrios for that Mickey Mouse belt. Come on now. Y'all can fool the average fan, but you ain't gonna fool me with that shit. Stavi, Tank did do that at 140, and don't count that belt. He's a 2-division champion, not 3. So let me also show you something else, Stavi. He's actually a 1-division champion. The 135-pound title, my brother, let me remind you, Tank got a secondary belt by beating washed up Gamboa. Bro, that title was vacant. And PBC matched him up with Gamboa for that shit. So he got a secondary title off of Gamboa, which is why a lot of people don't understand this. And if you don't know this, you're going to learn now. When you got a secondary title, you don't get mandatories. Nobody's going to be mandated to fight you. That's why Tank loved that secondary title he had at 135 and still got it. And the main title, that shit got emailed to Tank. Tank Davis hasn't beat a reigning champion in the 135 division. The only reigning champion that he beat in his own division was Pedraza at 130. At 135, Tank Davis never beat a reigning champion, just like he never did at 140. Those are just the facts. Punisher. That's my favorite Teo fight. Best performance in my opinion. My favorite Teofimo Lopez fight, I got a few that I really like from him. I love the way he fought Josh Taylor, but I also like his fight with Lomachenko. That was a really good fight. And a lot of people thought Teofimo was going to lose. So I love that fight. Raw Dog, it's not giving these elite athletes multivitamins. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Because one thing that I heard somewhere is that snack, in some cases, they're not giving athletes shit. They just paying them to promote their brand. So they wearing the hat, they wearing the shirts, they using, their gym and recording videos, but they not giving them shit. They just promoting it. But they already have that, there's that narrative behind them. So now people could just hate on everybody that's working with Snack. But that's not the reality. Jose Chavez, I'm just happy we're getting so many good fights these next 2 weeks. Yo, these next few months, we're going to get a lot of fights. We're going to get a lot of good cards. That card with Shakur Stevenson in July is going to be crazy. Shakur Stevenson, William Zepeda. Edgar Berlanga, Hamza Shiraz. Alberto Puello versus Subriel Matias. I can't wait to see Subriel Matias get a title shot and see if he's going to be a champion once again. And David Morrell is going to fight in that same card. So we got a lot of boxing coming up, my people. Boxing is crazy right now. Stavi, he had the belt at 130, beating Flores for a vacant title. But there you have it. A vacant title, bro. A vacant title. Not a reigning champion. Hash Bash. Shakur didn't beat a reigning champion at 135. That's because you saw he tried to beat Devin Haney, and Devin Haney ran from the whole division. And Tank Davis been ducking him for the last few years. How is he going to beat him? How is he going to beat the guys that keep running from him? He tried to take a reigning champion to purse bid, and my man's dropped the belt and left from the whole division. Did you forget that we was talking about it? The Mexican G, I remember when I heard Tank was going to fight Leo. I knew it was going to end in a vicious fashion. Leo's a small dude with no power. And Tank Davis was at 135 and moved down to 130 to fight Leo, B. Like, come on. You got to think about Tank Davis moved down to 130 to fight Leo Santa Cruz, and then he went right back up to 135. And then he made Lamont Roach come from 130, and Androide Garcia also moved up from 130 to fight Tank Davis. Tank Davis stayed fighting dudes that's not even in his division. My goodness. Punisher, boxing is on fire. I agree with you, my brother. Matias the Boogeyman, I'm not so sure anymore. Matias' stocks kind of fell off after he took that loss. He got beat up pretty bad. And after that, we haven't really been hearing from him. Stavi, are you on the Shakur payroll? I'm not on the payroll. I'm just talking the facts as they are, my brother. That's all it is. Shakur can do no wrong in your eyes. He's out there calling everybody. He's trying to fight everybody. What can I tell you? What can I tell you? When I see him trying to fight everybody and everybody ducking him, what can I tell you? I'm only telling you what's going on in boxing. That's it. You can interpret it how you want, but you don't try to dispute it because you know it's true, my brother. When somebody's telling you the truth and you know it's true, you can't even dispute it. You could just make some narrative around it. Punisher, thoughts on my boy, the gunslinger, El Vaquero Navarrete, and who would you like to see him fight next? Navarrete, man, is a top-level fighter. I like him. I love his style. Even though he be all over the place, I don't know how Navarrete, sometimes his feet be all tangled up and he throwing punches. I love watching him fight. His fights is always action-packed. I wanted to see him fight Shakur at 130, and that fight just couldn't materialize itself for whatever reason. But I think Navarrete is a top-level fighter. He already put hands and feet on Valdez. Let's see. Let's see what's next for him. Almontes, Puello Cooks Matias. Let's see. Let's see how that plays out. I feel like Puello does have the boxing skills to outbox him, but Subriel Matias is going to put that pressure and bring it to him. We got to see how that plays out. Hash Bass, is Tank a big 135 or a small 135? He's a big 135. Tank Davis be walking around at 160 and 170. Fat as hell. Big as hell. You know how much weight he got to drop to make 135? Hell yeah, he a big 135 pounder. You should know the answer to that question when he fought Mario Barrios at 140. Tank Davis could have been moved to 140, but he's too busy ducking everybody. The Mexican G. Tank did that boy dirty. Went down in weight to bully the small guys. Went down to fight Leo Santa Cruz. Brought Lamar Roach from 130. Brought El Androide Garcia from 130 to fight him. Come on, man. Then went up to fight Barrios at 140, but ran right back down to 135 without a single title defense in the division. Come on, man. All the moves that he been making, it's only his fans playing dumb about it. Everybody else sees what he been doing. And he's been called out for it. The Mexican G, Pitbull Cruz versus Navarrete will be a classic. I like that fight. But you got to remember that Pitbull moved up to 140. So we don't know where he's going to fight next. I think that Pitbull should stay at 135. I know that he was able to win a title at 140, but I think he should stay at 135. Stabby, my favorite Shakur moment when he cried like a little boy after he got schooled in the Olympics. Floyd Mayweather cried like a little boy when he lost in the Olympics, and you saw how Floyd Mayweather's career played out. You're going to be crying like a little boy when Shakur is one of the greatest of all time. You never seen somebody cry like that? Please Google, please YouTube Floyd Mayweather losing in the Olympics and get back to me. Almontes, Ryan Garcia dehydrated at 136. Ryan Garcia, that's why I say he's going to do good at the welterweight division. He struggled at 135. Never used to make weight. Was always fighting at a catch weight of 140. Moved up to 140. Still struggling to make 140. 147 is the division where he's going to make weight comfortably at. Ryan Garcia is a big kid. He's a big kid. He don't need to be at that division. Punisher, Navarrete too little for Pitbull. I got to keep it a buck. Navarrete too little for Pitbull? Nah, you wildin' out, bro. Navarrete tall as hell. Navarrete big. Navarrete will look big in front of Pitbull. He'll look big in front of Pitbull if anything. The Mexican G, yeah, he needs to stay at 130. His power isn't showing up in his new division. Yo, at 140, guys was eating Pitbull's best punches and not going nowhere. However, he did win his last fight. Hash Bass, Floyd got cheated in the Olympics, but Shakur didn't get cheated. There you go, injecting your opinion once again. There you go, injecting your opinion. Floyd got cheated, but Shakur didn't get cheated. It's all about your opinion. At the end of the day, they both lost in the gold medal match. They both walked out of the Olympics with a silver medal, and they both cried when they lost their last fight. Your opinion is irrelevant. I'm just stating the facts, my brother. I'm just stating. You see that you put Europe. You always try to inject your opinion. I'm stating the facts. They both walked out of there with a silver medal. They both cried when they lost that last fight. That's just the truth. The Mexican G Pitbull versus Nick Ball will be another banger. Hell yeah. That's a slugfest. A fight breaks out in the first round and they go into a slugfest for the duration. Real talk. Love more Hinduism. Bunch of Southpaw fans here. Man, I tell you. My peoples, I'm about to end this live. As always, I want to give a shout out. John Parham, Punisher, Love More Hinduism, the Mexican G, Hash Bass, and everybody else who showed up. Stavy, everybody else who showed up. I appreciate you, my peoples. Y'all already know what it is. We're going to be talking boxing tomorrow. Yo, I'm Jay Smith. This is Box Center, your favorite boxers, favorite boxing show, my peoples. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow, and y'all know it. We're getting closer and closer to Conor Benn versus Chris Eubanks Jr. And I already told you, Conor Benn is going to knock him out. I know that's a little bit controversial. Chris is the bigger guy. Conor Benn is moving up multiple divisions. Conor made me a believer. He knocking him out. I'm out of here, my peoples. Yo, peace. Salute to everybody, my peoples. Bam. Ya me voy de aquí, estoy cansado, tengo que comer.